everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm Kat. I'm a wife, a homeschool mom, and an avid reader. If you've been here before, welcome back. It is actually May 29th today, Memorial Day here in the US, and I thought I would take this opportunity to kind of look to what I read or what I'm going to read during June. As you can see back over here, my May was pretty productive. And truthfully, with as much vlogging as I've done this month, I don't know that I'm going to do a wrap up. I might pick a few to talk about, but for the most part, it's not going to be a normal wrap up. But before we even broach that, I do want to look at what I'm going to read in June. There are a lot of series that have kind of popped up on my plate this month due to the 72 hours in the Smut Den, along with some books that I've had on my TBR since at least April. I had a few from April that I wanted to read for Romathon, but it didn't happen. And then I had a few left over from May that I just don't think I'm going to get to, but really did want to read. So, that being said, I'm going to start with a few that are going to be audiobooks or ebooks just because that's how I can get my hands on them. The first is Saint. If you've followed me in the last year, you know that I have read Priest and just recently read Sinner. And this is a series that's following the Bell brothers. The first one is Priest Bell. The second one is his older brother, Sean. And then this third book will be Aiden. The first two books are a male-female. This one's going to be a male-male. So I'm not quite sure how I'm going to feel about it. I personally haven't done a whole lot of male-male romance. But at the same time, after reading the first two books, I want to see Aiden grow up. And I want to see, his story arc. My other concern with this one is where it's going to take, or when in the timeline it's going to take place. I think it overlaps with Sinner. If not, it takes place shortly after. And that is, events in Sinner really tore me apart. And not even because of the things that happened between the couple. It was the life things happening for the Bell brothers that I really struggled with. So depending on how much they focus on that, along with the male-male romance, I don't know if it's even a good time to read it right now. But it is a hopeful for the month. I have enjoyed Sierra Simone's writing and felt that she's dealt with everything very well. And so I'm going to trust her with this and hope that things go well. The next one also got started through the Smut Den weekend, and that is A Touch of Ruin. This is the second book in the Hades and Persephone series, and in this one we have Hades and Persephone's relationship has become public knowledge, and it seems that most of this book is going to deal with how they are handling others and the world, New Athens, knowing about their relationship and how they are going to proceed in their relationship. Sometimes when you have those secret romances in books, those inviting the public in can lead to drama. I don't know if that's what happens in real life. Never been part of a secret romance. So, there is that. All right, and then the other one that I'm looking at reading actually came from last year's Smut Den, but the third book wasn't on Kindle Unlimited yet, and now it is. And it's Their Vicious Darling. This is the third book in the Never King, or it began with the Never King. No, it began with the Dark One, and then went Never King, and now Vicious Darling. This is part of the Vicious Lost Boys series. So it's a Peter Pan-esque retelling in which through generations Peter Pan has been kidnapping one of the Darling girls when they turn 18 to try to get back what belongs to him. And so this is continuing that tale, and it seems that whereas the first one focused a lot on Peter Pan, the second one focused a lot on Hook, I think this third one, due to the title, is going to focus a lot on the Darling character herself. So this is going to be a fun one. All three of those are kind of hopefuls for the month, just kind of depending on my mood and how life goes. As far as my physical books that I would like to read, there are a couple that are on library timelines, and then most of the rest are here in my house and don't have as strict of a timeline. So, one is the continuation of a series that I have been reading, and it's my goal to finish this series throughout the year, and that is Drums of Autumn, from the Outlander series. I have been reading since February, a book a month. April, it didn't work out getting to a chunky book like this. Could I have read it? Yes. I don't know that I would have gotten as much read in April as I did, because those quick books that I did read in April were a nice escape throughout the end of the school year. But Drums of Autumn, we are following Claire and Jamie as they are establishing their life in the colonies. And in this one, we actually are going to have Brianna and Roger are going to discover something that's going to send them through the stones, as well to warn Claire and Jamie about. So this is on my list. The new season of Outlander is supposed to start mid-June, and so the quicker I can get these reread, the quicker I can go through and continue the series, the Stars series. Another book that these two books, bless their hearts, they were meant to be read in May. And I pushed them off a little bit because of their content, I was hoping that I would get to read them during the Smut Den. And then I spun only the Dark Wheel all weekend. And neither of these, I think, are Dark Wheel material. And so here we are. So the first one is The Worst Best Man. This one I left out of my video last month because I hadn't bought the book yet. And there are 2 books with the same title by different authors. Or very close. One's like The Worst Best Man and the other's like A Worst Best Man or something like that. Like they are super, super close. But the authors are different and they are very different feels in the books. So while I had the clip art for this book, I read the description for the other one. I'm like, I'm done. I'm just going to scrap that. So this one is a wedding planner has been left at the altar. And Lena, who is our wedding planner, is given the opportunity that could change her life. But she has to collaborate with the best man from her own failed nuptials. So she is teaming up with the guy that was supposed to be the best man at her wedding. And he's going to be working with the ex-fiance. So this looks like it's kind of a enemies to lovers between her and the best man, and who's tired of playing second fiddle to his brother. This is for the May Cliterature Book Club. So I'm going to try to get this one read pretty quickly in the beginning of June so that I am ready for the live discussion. And I just really hope that it doesn't end up on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday afternoon. So we'll have to see how this goes. The next one is actually a book I borrowed from my sister. So it has somewhat of a deadline, but not as strict as a deadline. I do try when I go out there to give my sister her books back, or if she comes out here to give them back to her. So I have until about November, if we're going off of what I know is coming. So when I go out there for Thanksgiving, I'm going to try to get this back to her, but we'll have to see. And this one is, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I have read both of her previous books, Beach Read and People We Meet on Vacation, and have really loved her writing. I liked Beach Read more than People We Meet on Vacation, but both were great reads. This one is following Nora Stevens, who, as all of us readers, her life is books. And so she agrees to go to Sunshine Falls in North Carolina for the month of August. And with the goal of becoming the heroine of her own story. So this one looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. This one, I think of Emily Henry as kind of summer reads, and so this is a perfect time for this. If you look, my sister has marked all of her, or marked specific spots throughout here, so I'm looking forward to kind of getting her thoughts as I read as well. All right, so now we're down to the two that have library deadlines. Both of these I picked up in April, so here it is, June, and I still haven't read them. My library has a 3-week checkout, so they've been renewed once, and that's all I get. So if I'm going to read them, I need to go on ahead and do so. The first one I had picked up because it was a sci-fi retelling, and there were some other big things that it hit for Realmathon this year to get points. And so I had seen a lot, or somebody had recommended this one, The Girl in Red, as a sci-fi read. And this is a story that, I don't know, this may be, I didn't even read the back before. So going off of the back, this may hit a little close to home. So there's a woman in a red jacket who is forced to go out into the woods, where it is not safe to be due to predators. But she doesn't have a choice. She has to go. There's a crisis that comes that decimates the population and sends the survived fleeing into quarantine camps. So, yeah. We're going to see how this goes. There are predators in this, not just coyotes, snakes, and wolves, but apparently there are men in uniform, men with dark desires and evil intents, and sometimes there's something worse than all the horrible people and vicious beasts combined. So, this one, I don't really know exactly what I'm getting into on this. But we're just going to go with it. I was trying to look at the ISBN information. Not a whole lot here. It's fantasy fiction. That's all it says. So, we're going to give it a shot, at least. If I don't like it, I can DNF it and take it back to the library. That's the nice thing about the library. I don't have to pay for those. And then the last one that's on my list right now is also a continuation of a series, and this is Vengeful by V.E. Schwab. I'm so sorry about the reflection. This one is following the events from Vicious in the in the Villains series. And this one is two EOs, Victor Vale and Eli Ever. In the last book, they had kind of, you get the idea of how their lives, which were very close to begin with, have gone off the rails. And this one is going to continue on from there, but following Marcella Riggins, who we met at the end of Vicious, and kind of how she ties into all of this at this point. I really enjoyed Vicious, so I am looking forward to Vengeful. I'm trying not to describe too much with that one, but basically, EOs, extraordinaries, Victor and Eli figure out a way to create extraordinaries, and they end up on opposite sides of a schism. And so they try to continue life from there. And there you have it, guys. There are 8 titles that I am looking forward to reading during the month of June. So far in May, I have read 17 books. So while putting 8 books on my TBR might seem low comparatively, I also wanted to leave plenty of room for mood reading. The Cliterature Bookclub has not, I don't believe they've announced July's reading, and I don't think that the Pyramid Book Club has released theirs yet, because they aren't doing their live show for The Black and Endless Sky until June 4th. So there are a few openings that I like to leave. And the Late Night Crew also has not announced theirs. So there are at least 3 more books that will end up on my TBR based on what is announced for those 3 book clubs. And then I did want to have some room for mood reading. I kind of sit on this teeter-totter of, I would love to just pick up whatever feels good. And I do that a lot. But if I don't have books on my TBR and I am having a day of decision fatigue, I won't pick anything up. And so a TBR helps me. You know, here I have 8 choices. That will at least get me started. And then if there is a book that I hear of that I do want to read, it will also keep me accountable there, or allow me wiggle room there. But what are you going to read during June? Let me know in the comments. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me to know that you are there and that there are others out there enjoying this. And then if you enjoy the not wrap-ups, if you enjoy my TBRs, let me know by leaving a like. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.